Hello everyone, my name is Kayla Cooney and I am Associate Director of Libraries at Pasco Hernandez State College in Spring Hill, Florida. Prior to coming to work for PHSC in 2018, I worked for the Newport Richey Public Library for over 5 years. One aspect of work that my former library director was passionate about was wellness, particularly employee wellness. In the public library, I think we thrived in our ability to offer employees a place to maintain their wellness with support from management. We didn't focus on weight loss like some programs did. We focused on how people felt. Were they stressed? How did our environment contribute to that stress? And what could we do to improve well-being for our team? So let's start off by a brief definition of wellness by Merriam-Webster: the quality or state of being in good health, especially as an actively sought goal. It was interesting to note that one of the listed synonyms for wellness is fitness, so it is no wonder that we so closely associate sometimes wellness with physical activity and physical fitness. But this definition does seem to leave a lot out, right? What role does our environment have on our wellness? In this case, the environment could be work, or it could be the actual environment, getting outside, just being involved with nature. I want to point out that there are a lot of wellness models out there, and they can vary in terms that they use for defining wellness. These terms are the ones that I saw mentioned most often and seem to make the most sense. However, having a wellness model only really works if it is something that leadership within an organization buys into. And some of the points that I wanted to make were environmental, social, mental, and emotional. These are all different elements of wellness that several models pointed out. In general, there is data to suggest that there is a relationship between wellness and absenteeism from work. In recent years, trends from the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health look at trends related to flu season. However, other absenteeism can be due to work-related stress and fatigue. I found this quote from the government of British Columbia that I thought was really well put. One of the keys to managing employee absences is maintaining a positive relationship with each employee. I like that this perspective encourages interaction between employees and managers that is not hostile or accusatory. Instead, the importance of relationship building is emphasized. We then consider how those relationships lead to the development of team morale. Often, a reduced morale is related to toxic workplaces or organizations that lack opportunities for advancement. Other aspects of work that impact morale are the relationship one has with their supervisor, changes in technology, and budget cuts. A reduced morale for a prolonged period of time can then lead to burnout. In cases of burnout, staff members are disengaged from their work, from their place of work, and often from each other. They are not enjoying aspects of their job they once did and are at high risk for leaving their position. In a study by Butcher, the research focused on physician burnout pre-COVID. I really like how this piece reframed burnout as being something that is essentially placed at the feet of the employee, as opposed to the organization or institution. Butcher points out that when employees experience burnout, the answer is not to offer more time management workshops or add some exercise equipment in a back room for employees to use in their free time. Instead, institutions should review what factors initiated the excessive work that contributed to the burnout in the first place. Why is this person feeling burned out? What is their workload like? Why is that workload so high? We might find out that our staffing levels are not adequate and are leading to burnout and subsequent resignations. In many circumstances, institutions build in stress. The process of tenure, for example, is not something I am eligible for at my current institution. However, I know of colleagues at other institutions that have pursued tenure, and the process is stressful and laborious. We need to question who this process keeps from attaining tenure and other accolades. We know that there are studies related to student well-being, not only as it relates to libraries. In general, studies look at student habits such as sleep, exercise, diet, and mindfulness. There are positive associations with engagement and negative associations with tobacco use and anxiety. For many students, libraries are safe places for them to come and just be themselves. Students can seek assistance in researching topics that are sensitive without having to worry about judgment from staff. The building itself can simply be a space for the library to collaborate with other departments that offer healthcare services such as flu shots. In other instances, libraries have installed activity equipment like treadmills and balance balls that students can utilize while studying. Well, one study found that students seemed to enjoy the equipment and wanted more, even though there was some initial confusion on the equipment and what it was doing in the library in the first place. One of the things I want to point out about student initiatives is that they do have an impact on the staff. There is a certain amount of stress that a staff member will absorb from students that are struggling. Think finals week or researching a topic that students might be having emotions about during the reference interview. This emotion is something that employees may or may not be trained to handle. During hurricane season, public librarians in my area have to staff phone banks at the Emergency Operations Center. During one storm, people were calling for help, and the library staff had to tell them that the winds were too high and first responders would not be able to go and assist them. There was certainly some trauma and stress related to that aspect of the job that I don't think most of us think we are getting into when we start working in libraries. More often than not, initiatives come back to staff members to identify on their own and seek assistance on their own. Employee assistance programs often offer opportunities for staff members to learn coping skills or techniques that might help them with issues in the workplace. Are these programs designed to help employees get through their day or to thrive? In my experience with wellness, smoking cessation classes were popular because they often provided folks with free gum and nicotine patches to get started. For those that quit smoking, they could notice a drop in the cost of their insurance. Mental health is something we are working to destigmatize. So it seems like these efforts tend to get sandwiched into a lot of other programs, or they are just covered under the EAP or Employee Assistance Program. Physical wellness is an area that can be tough to discuss as well. Many institutions of higher learning have gyms, which may provide all employees with free access. In instances where employees work far from home or have responsibilities to attend before and after work, this access may not be as beneficial. Local gyms may be more ideal for some employees, but are still cost prohibitive. There does seem to be a gap in information about retention for academic library employees as it relates to wellness initiatives. However, if we are to break down the individual components of wellness, I think we will see that people are leaving the field due to burnout, which is absolutely a wellness issue. One question I still have is how wellness initiatives actually impact employee retention. In one conversation I had with a friend that works in human resources, she indicated that it is difficult to know what works because we don't often hear about the things unless they don't work. For example, they resign and indicate wellness when they leave. As you may be able to see from the list provided, there are several initiatives that have worked at other institutions in the past. Boise State had a health product vending machine that was installed near the library, largely due to the long hours of the facility and the location of the building in relation to other things on campus. McGill University had a therapy dog program at their library. I saw this happen in public libraries as well, and the program was quite popular for all ages. As a former public librarian, I found the visits from the dogs to be personally beneficial, particularly if I was having a hard day. Some programs, like the University of Toronto, mention starting off a class with meditation, while others offer yoga to students, faculty, and staff. For those participating in yoga programs, several were participating as a work break. The study indicated that there was a lot of emphasis on the program being free to attend. At the Texas Medical Center Library, they established a wellness committee and surveyed employees asking them what they were looking for in a wellness program. They drafted a policy that allowed each employee 30 minutes a day to participate in a wellness activity. They partnered this policy with hosting events and offering yoga and massage services that employees did pay for on their own. We can make libraries better places for employees to thrive by considering a few things. Unlike other programs, wellness is not a competition. I worked for an organization that had a weight loss competition. Few people attended, few people participated, and those that did were generally the ones that were already utilizing a gym. Most people did not want others to know how much they weighed, nor any of their other personal vitals. In some cases, competition might make wellness in the workplace more fun or engaging, but for others, it will be a turnoff. Instead, we should look at wellness as being a broader term that encompasses other aspects of a person's interactions with health. Offering programs is a great idea, but what are the goals of these programs? Who runs the program? Is it sustainable? Does it require training or certification? What do these programs tell the people attending them? As I mentioned earlier, providing someone with a presentation on time management to address burnout puts the burden back on the employee. Instead, organizations need to look at what they are asking of their employees. Are we doing more with less? As budget cuts, layoffs, and hiring freezes have impacted libraries, we also have seen people leave the field and go into other industries. We need to adopt wellness models and policies that will be sustainable and supported by campus and library leadership. We need to celebrate the success of our teams without unintentionally celebrating those that overwork and set unrealistic expectations for themselves and others. If we truly embrace wellness, we should be willing to recognize the areas that we want to grow in ourselves and recognize that we cannot do it all alone. Thank you for your time today. I hope you walk away from this presentation with some ideas and thoughts as you will begin to look at your library's own policies related to wellness. Here's my contact information in case you have any questions that you want to email me with. This is a topic I found so much joy in researching, and I look forward to continuing this journey as a librarian that wants to see workplaces more focused on the teams that provide such critical support to our communities. Here are some wonderful resources for y'all to check out if you have some time later. I look forward to answering any questions that you may have. Thank you so much.